called me up, he drove by
If
today.
the audience has questions, please write them on one of the cards, and one of my runners will come and get them. First, we're going to have the candidates introduce themselves, tell a little bit about themselves, and their names, what office they're running for. So you get about 2 minutes, and then when we start asking the questions, you get about 2 minutes to answer the question. We're trying to make sure that each group that question pertains to, each person answers it. So, John, would you like to start, please?
Sure. My name is John Crockett, and I'm running for the library board, the first public office that I have sought. A little background on me: I was born and raised in Flint, Michigan. I was the youngest of 9. My wife and I have lived in northern Oakland County for 40 years, raised our 3 daughters in Holly. We were there for 30 years and have been in Brandon Township for the last 10. I went to Central Michigan University, got a bachelor's in business administration there. Later I took night classes at Walsh College and got a master's in management. I'm retired now, but I spent 38 years in the equipment finance and banking industry, mostly analyzing financial statements and credit quality of our potential customers. For the last year and a half, or a little over a year, my wife and I have co-managed the Friends of the Library bookstore in Brandon, and that brings me up to date. So.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Ball, and I'm running for the library board. I've been on the board now for 9-10 years. I've been finance officer for most of those years. I have a finance background, a finance degree. I worked in banking for 30-some years. And I really enjoy working on the library board because I think it's such a positive resource for this community. Our community has really invested in a fabulous library. We have a great staff. We have a well-run budget, and I'd like to help that continue.
My name is Jan Rathberg. I'm on the library board. I've been on the board for, I believe, 8 years, and I'm running again for the next 4 years. I lived here in Brandon Township, I believe, 47 years now. Raised 4 kids and grandkids here, and I was a teacher in Clarkston for over 30 years, my husband too, and this has always been our home. And after I retired, I thought I've always been one of those individuals that left town to go to work. And I thought, I want to give back to this community. How can I do this? And I was able to run for the library board back in 16 and was placed on the board. You voted me in. I'd like to be voted in again and continue that, because I also feel that our library is a gem in this community, and I'd like to see that continue.
My name is Scott Stanglin. I live on Granger Road. Been a Oakland County resident for 30 years, and the Ortonville area for 10 years, and we moved to Brandon specifically in 2002. We built a equestrian farm on Granger, right north of Perry Lake, and we run that horse farm. I also am on a school board for a statewide public school called Michigan Virtual Charter Academy. I've been on that board for about 10 years, and I'm running for township board because I think it's important to stay active in the community, and I think I can help our community in a lot of different ways.
worked in the clerk's office since 2016. When I started off, well, I guess I should probably give a little bit of history. So I've lived in Oakland County for my whole life. I've lived in Oakland County my whole life, and I've been in Ortonville for 16 years. It's the time that we chose to raise our kids, and so we'll probably never leave the community. I started out in the clerk's office in September of 2016. I started as a fill-in in the clerk's office. From there, I love our community. I love the people in our community. And the more I worked in the clerk's office, I was just hungry to grow. I started on the cemetery. From there, I dived in to become a notary. And then after that, I started working on the elections. And there we grew. So when I ran for clerk in 2020, I ran for the election aspect of it. That was my that was a lot of my knowledge, was to work on the elections. And I can't say that I love the politics so much when it comes to elections, but I can guarantee you I love the process. Election integrity is very important to me. Transparency with elections is also very important to me. And just recently, in March, I became a Michigan professional municipal clerk. So that is very exciting. There was a lot of hours that went in to get that designation. And during my term, I have also, we have a pickleball court in the village, which I helped put in with the Community Development Block Grant. And I'm running for office because my first 4 years was, you got to get in, you got to learn the job. There's a lot to learn with any job. And it's hard to really make movement and make impacts into the community until you really learn the ins and the outs of what's happening on the township level. So I'm really excited to dive in for another 4 years to really involve in the community and make some good connections and do some wonderful things.
Hi, I'm Vicki Hale, and I'm also running for Township Clerk. While it is my first time, I have been a personal assistant for over a decade, and before that I was manager and other administrative positions. I'm running for clerk because I think that there's a time of change. That now too much has been going on for the same old for too long, and that we need fresh faces in there and having more voices and more diversity and more explanation. I've been a resident of Brandon Township my entire life. That's a little too close. And graduated here in Brandon. My daughter's here in Brandon, and it's just me and her, trying to make it through the world. And just trying to help get back to my community that helped, give me so much.
Hello.
See?
I probably don't even need this. My name's Ed Darbyshire, and
Okay, it's not just me then. I feel better.
did my 2 minutes start?
Right here. Too close to your button right here.
Yeah.
And then I'll turn it on and off.
My phone's in my pocket. No, we did that.
There you go. All right. We're going to shut this off, and I'll just use my loud voice. I'm one of 11. I'm the second oldest. I grew up in Boston, Michigan. Ortonville reminded me of Troy when I was first looking for property. I bought some property out here in 1989 on Legault Road, and I really love it. Like I said, I have a mechanical engineering degree from Lawrence Tech, graduated in '84. I'm 63, so you don't have to do the math. I'm retired. I really love the community. I have a small farm. We've raised everything from sheep, cows, goats, cash crops. My experience has always been, I never wanted to run for a public office because it just didn't pay very well. And so now I'm retired, so now I can run. And I just want to get back to my community. I just really love Ortonville, and I love the whole environment. My experience has always been with dealing with the private road and the issues that came up, and I just didn't like the way the board handled a lot of things and made decisions, and they made it more on a democracy instead of on a democratic republic side, where we have 3 branches of government, and it just really got me upset. So That's why I'm running, and if you have any questions for me later, for you.
Jason Rumble, I'm the Brandon Township Supervisor right now. I'm running again for another 4 years. I'm running because I want to continue the progress we've made in the last 4 years, and I don't see any need for us to go and reduce and go back to where we came from. And I am been on the board since 2012, except for 2 years. I was a trustee for 4 years, and then I was a trustee for 2 years, and then just finished my first term as supervisor. I also own a law firm in the town. I have managed that for 18 years now. I've lived in the community for 43 years. I'll be 46 this year when we move here on my 3rd birthday. We live on the south side of town with my 2 daughters and my wife. We also have a small farm. We have horses, chicken, pigs, turkeys, and most of that is 4-H animals, except for the horses. They just go and ride. They come home. All the other animals stay there. And then I also serve on the Brandon Groveland Youth Assistance Board. I'm on the Downtown Development Authority. I also coach boys and girls high school golf at Brandon High School. Okay, I stay busy. I have lots to do, but Brandon Township is my love. I love being part of it. I love serving the residents of this community, and I look forward to doing it for another 4 years. Thank you. I have no idea.
You want to try this one?
Okay, got it to work. I'm Kathy Thurman. I was supervisor for 12 years, beginning in 2008. I served 3 terms, and then this last 4 years I was trustee, and that was a real eye-opener. I know that from doing the trustee position, there's a lot of communication to the trustees that doesn't seem to take place, that needs to be improved. I have been a homeowner in Brandon Township for 37 years, and I've raised 3 kids in this township, so I love the township. I'm running for supervisor again because I miss the job, I miss the interaction with the public, and I miss the work. So I'm running for another 4-year term as supervisor this time, and I would like to do the improvements driven by what the community thinks needs to be done.
Oh, I'm with Ed. I don't need a microphone. Sometimes it's an advantage having a big voice. My name is Bob Marshall. I'm running for trustee. I'm currently a trustee. I believe this is my third term. Yeah, my 3rd term. Time goes fast and you're having fun. I can't remember. I've lived in the township for 24 years. I'm retired. I was retired as a public safety lieutenant, which is police and fire, so we did both. We were cross-trained. When I retired, about a year before I retired, I moved up here, and I'm originally from a small town. Anybody knows where Elmont is? I'm originally from Elmont, small town. So I like the small town atmosphere, and when I moved out here, I felt right at home, and the people in the community made me feel right at home. So I like doing things for my community. I like serving my community and sort of being in touch with what's going on. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Debbie Ross, and I'm running for trustee of Brandon Township. I've been involved with the local Republican Party since 2020. I've been a precinct delegate since 2020, so this will be my 3rd time being on the ballot for precinct delegate. I got involved back in 2020. I've been peripherally involved prior to that, making phone calls for different candidates and things like that. But after COVID and some of the things that happened with that, and then the 2020 election, it kicked me into gear to get involved. I've been involved inside the Republican Party, like I said. Last fall, there was an opening for the district chair for Congressional District 9, and I'm currently the chair of the Republican Party for the 9th Congressional District. I'm a lifetime Northern Oakland County resident. I grew up in Clarkston. I've lived in Brandon Township for over 30 years. I was born in California. My dad was in the service, so I've been away from Northern Oakland County for 3 years. 2 when I was first born, and then I left to go to the East Coast for a year in my 20s for a job, and missed my family and friends and the history here. So I came back, and my kids are raised now, and I'd like to take the next step and get involved further with the local community and see what I can do to help out.
Thank you, Faye, for putting this on. My name is Steve Unruh. I'm running for Brandon Township trustee. I'm the current incumbent on the board. I've been living here since 2003 when I got stationed, posted here. I worked for the Michigan State Police. They sent me down here. I patrolled in the Metro North, Groveland, and hopefully I'm pointing the right way, Bruce Township. Prior to me getting here, I've always had an idea of service because of my police work, but I also was in the military while I was in 11 Bravo. If any of you are veterans, that's infantry, carried everything on my back, which is kind of tough, but it taught you a lot about yourself. After that, I went to college, went to Central Michigan University, where I graduated with a bachelor's degree. Later, I went to Oakland University, and I got a master's degree, and I was published 3 times and was a national speaker at 3 different conventions. Now, after retiring from the state police, I've invested in houses owning and part of about 800 doors. So what I bring to the table, so to speak, is a sense of service and a sense of fiscal responsibility in regards to business and development. And I also grew up in a small town, so I kind of like the small town feel without getting what we have further south. Anyway, Steve Unruh, thank you.
Okay, I need this guy. I'm Ashley Mold. I'm the newbie and I think only one for Village Council trustee. I'm currently on the board. I was appointed a couple months ago, so I'm just getting my feet in the water. I'm brand new, have no idea anything about politics. This is my first run in, but I want to learn. I just moved here a year and a half ago, grew up in Clarkston, way of Waterford, with way of California for a little bit, and then back here. Family is in Ortonville, and I just wanted to see the back end of stuff. Truthfully, after the Pride situation and permits and wanting to know the back end of why certain permits get approved and some don't, and I just want to know why some things get appointed in and some things don't. And now that I've seen the back end of stuff, I'm now figuring it out, slowly but surely, and I want to keep going. I want to try, hopefully, a 4-year and see what happens in the next 4 years. It's just me and my dog, and a lot of you have probably seen me walking him around. He's pretty well known now in downtown. That's just a little bit. Used to be a paramedic. I was a paramedic for a long time. Now I do corporate. I do heart monitoring for the corporate world, and so now I work from home, and so it gives me the time and the energy to put into stuff, and I just want to see the village and even the township grow a little bit, not huge, not crazy, but just a little bit, and see all the young people moving into town and with family, and want to see it build up a little bit, and better parks and that kind of thing. So that's where I'm going with it.
One of the candidates was not able to be here, that then did send me a letter and asked me to read it. To Brandon Township residents, I am Dana DePalma, and I'm currently one of the trustees for Brandon Township. I am running for treasurer and wish I could have attended the event tonight, but had prior obligations. Let's get to the next sentence. It has to do with me, so. I have lived in the township for over 20 years and have been trustee for the township for 13 years since April of 2011. I am a certified public accountant and currently work for the Hantz Group Tax and Business Division Rochester Radiology PC, and my own tax and accounting practice. When I started to run for trustee and while holding office, it was always my goal to run for treasurer when my kids were older. I feel now is that time and I am ready to fully commit to being treasurer. As treasurer, I would continue to be professional and fiscally responsible by helping to continue to decrease spending yet maintain mandated services and safety for the residents as I did as trustee. I have always listened to all sides of the issue or decision at hand and would consider the pros, cons, and what was best for the majority of the residents. I understand the ins and outs of governmental accounting, including the daily accounting, the financial statements, the audit, budget, the liabilities, the benefits, and always ask financial responsible questions in order to be informed to help make the best decisions for the township. As treasurer, I would continue to be involved in the township, but at a higher capacity. I feel I will be able to utilize my knowledge and my skills more to help the residents and our community. I have felt over the years of serving Brandon Township, there was always a piece that I didn't see or that was missing from not being in the office on a daily basis. I feel being treasurer, I could definitely help the township more. I work well with the current staff in the offices and look forward to building an efficient and effective treasurer's office to help the residents understand their tax bills, to be able to answer their questions and greet them with a friendly and welcoming atmosphere. If you have any thoughts or concerns, please feel free to contact me at depalmacpa@charter.net. Thank you for your time, Dana DePalma. And Ryan Mattis has something he wants to say. Okay, maybe Ryan doesn't. I was going to say,
Sure. Hi everybody, I'm Ryan Mattis. I'm the village manager here in the village of Ortonville. I'm not an elected official. I'm appointed by the village council, so I serve at their pleasure. There are lots of cool things happening in the village. Happy to answer any questions you have about the village. There's lots of things going on. Ashley is a very good representative of all that's going on. She can tell you more than I can on lots of things. But happy to help in lots of ways. That's about it. I didn't prepare my remarks. You guys are way more articulate than I am. So I'll turn it back over to Faye.
Okay, so now we're going to go on to the questions. I'm going to try and spread them out as much as I can. And I'm also going to request that you keep your answers to 2 minutes. I know some people have some place they have to be afterwards, and this is for the supervisor's office. So, do you like Edward or Ed?
Okay.
Mr. Derbyshire. How up to speed are you with Act 233, and what do you see happening in the township?
I have no idea what Act 233 is.
I'm just asking. I don't know either. Okay, so
that's cool.
You can't go to Fred.
I have no idea who wrote this question, but obviously none of our trustee or our supervisor candidates know what 233 is. So, okay, so let me try the second half of the question, Mr. Derbyshire. What do you see happening in the township?
Hopefully not a lot. I moved out here because it's a very rural appeal, and I'd like to keep it that way. The main thing that I would like to focus on are roads and the county drains. Schools, make sure that our schools are safe for all the kids that attend it. I know I'm not on the school board, but we do provide the police that do support the schools to make sure there's no incident that ever would happen like what happened in Oxford. Aside from that, police and fire, and I'd like to make sure that the budget is, managed conservatively. I'm very much to make sure that we don't tax people unnecessary. out of their house. And I'd like to do anything possible to lower the taxes. I know it's controlled mainly by the state, but I would like to make it affordable for new homeowners versus someone like me who's been here for 34 years and I pay half as much in the taxes for the same services. So that's basically where I'm coming at it from. And like I said, I don't believe that it's a democracy. I don't think because 51% of the people voted on something that that's how it should be. I think that all three branches need to be taken into account whenever you make a decision.
Thank you. Jason?
Yeah, I just want to continue working on our infrastructure. You know, in my first 4 years, we've garnered support with Brian and myself and the Groveland Township Supervisor and the Holly Township Supervisor. We garnered $11 million towards the ongoing sewer project that had been stagnant for about 15 years prior to that. So we got back into that, and we got $11 million, 10 from county and 1 from Melissa Slotkin at the Times office. And we're currently working with Lisa McLean's office to get more funds. And we continue to look for funds everywhere to bring that. But with that $11 million, we did secure capacity to bring sewers to Ortonville. And Brandon and Holly and Groveland, we own that capacity at the end of the pipe where it comes into Oakland County from Genesee County at Dixie Highway. So, and then obviously police and fire, our residents come out time and time again and fully support that. We do have some significant cost increase coming this year, so lowering any budgetary or millages there would be not smart at this point in time. We just got a 7.5% increase on our fire dispatch. That is coming for the police dispatch as well, and we expect that contract to increase by close to 20%. So lowering taxes on that would not be smart in any way. And that's where I stand on police and fire and infrastructure. I think are 2 of the biggest issues that we have. And fiscal budgeting is simple. We have done that in my first 4 years. We had an inflated budget that had hundreds and hundreds of line items for multiple things that were unnecessary. And the first thing I did is I cut about 200 of those out of the budget with the help of Rosalind and Scott, our treasurer. So we have downscaled that budget to make it more common sense and easier, and not having 6 line items for the same thing because it was a different color shirt somebody had on. Okay, so we got rid of all those things. So continue doing that. And unfortunately, we had to spend about $100,000 to fix that budget because it was in such bad shape when I took office. So we had to pay 2 CPA firms $100,000 to repair that and fix it. So I want to continue keeping that in good shape, keep eliminating line items that aren't necessary, and keep supporting police and fire and our infrastructure.
Thank you. Kathy?
Yes, I just wanted to say with the budget, when he means inflated, he means by amount of line items, not by the amount of money in the budget.
Correct.
When I came to office in 2008, that was during a recession. We had a really hard time, fire chief and I, trying to come up with a budget because we didn't know how much money we were going to have, and we had to do the tough thing, and that was make some cuts in our spending. We were able to do that without taking away any services for our residents, and we've come through it now, and now we have a surplus in our budget, and so I'd like to continue with the budget. I'm conservative, Republican, and I'd also like to work on the roads. Now that we have more money, we can put more money into the roads. That's always an issue from year to year. I also support police and fire and senior center and the senior services here in Brandon Township. And I also would be making myself more available. I know that our present supervisor, he went over all the things that he's doing. I've heard complaints that he's difficult to reach because he's not in the office for 40 hours a week. Anyways, I just love serving Brandon Township and the people in the township, and if there's any issues, I'd have an open door for everyone. Thank you.
Hey, can I just respond to that real quick? There's not an ounce of truth to that I'm not in the office for 40 hours. That is a complete farce. I am in the office every week, more than 40 hours easily. So I just wanted to say that.
Okay, this is for the clerk candidates. How are we cleaning up Rosalind, this one's for you first. How are we cleaning up voter polls?
Well, first, it's not voter polls, it's the voter rolls. So
Oh,
we'll
you know
start
what?
with
I'm
that.
sorry.
So,
Say roll.
There is a state law behind this. So when voter mail goes out to a voter and that voter is returned to the clerk's office, in our office, there's a countdown. So once election mail is returned to the clerk's office, if a voter does not vote within 2 election cycles, which is 8 years, they become off that list. So I think it's very important when you have a deceased voter, when you're getting those deceased, we always are on, we get those from Oakland County and then, the Village Funeral Home. So you have to go in there and do your due diligence. You have to go in there and mark them as inactive. You have to stay consistent. You have to make sure that when those voters for those 8 years are on those rolls, that they are coming off those rolls. But that is kind of on the state end. So it's kind of for us to kind of verify and oversee that to make sure that, you know what, you can have a voter that votes an absentee ballot. They can turn that ballot in, that voter could be deceased. So, it's, at that time, that ballot's not gonna count because you have to be alive during the time in which you vote, so.
No, because that one's got feedback. Oh, there you go.
Sorry, I'm a little afraid of that one. Okay.
Okay, it's just me, sorry. That kind of job, Rosalind explained it very well, is fairly straightforward. It's just like lines and itemization where you have to double check. Unfortunately, the clerk's position does handle, not here, the like births and death certificates. That's more on the county level. So, but yeah, it's just the matter of going over the rules and having to double check and see. But since I'm new, it's not like I have first-hand experience of going over birth and death certificates.
Can I just bring some clarification to that too? So you're absolutely correct. Oakland County does have that, but it's also important that, you can get it from the funeral home before you're going to get it from Oakland County. So it's very important that you stay on top of things like that. So it's just recent that the county clerk has gotten involved with doing that. So that kind of was the thing that Oakland County kind of took out of the clerk's hands is, so they'll give us the paperwork, but there's still a lot involved with double checking and sometimes what you're receiving from the county isn't all the information either. So it's really important that you stay on top of it.
Okay, first one is for the library. So this person says they tried to reserve a meeting room at the library for music practice and they were denied. They believe this is a hypocritical practice because the library allows musical performance and will you support music practice in the meeting rooms? Would you like to answer that first, Cheryl?
Sure. Well, first of all, it would have to go along with our policy for the meeting room, so it would have to be obviously a resident in this area, and it would be determined basically when they wanted to use it, what meeting room they wanted to use, what time of the day it was. We typically have our programs in the afternoon and evening. And I don't know the specifics on this particular item, and it typically would go through the director and then our program coordinator. So if there is a question about that, they can certainly call our executive director, Laura, and find out exactly why it was denied.
Do you guys have any other input? Do you want to?
Just ditto.
Okay, that works. Okay, this one's for you. How would you like to see downtown Ortonville change in the next 10 years? You're gonna get hit a lot, actually, because you're the only one. You're the only village people here, so.
I will do my best. As far as downtown, I mean, I'd love to keep it small because that's what it is. It's a small town. Do I want to see it grow with businesses? Yes, but I think to do that we would need sewers and all of that stuff, which that's a whole different subject to where I'm kind of in the don't want sewers because I don't want to pay for them personally. But to bring in the infrastructure, probably need them. So I would love to see downtown grow in the sense of maybe a couple restaurants or a cafe or coffee shop, that kind of thing, but keep it small. I don't want to see high rises or anything of that craziness. That's not what I don't think Ortonville and what the residents want by any means. But I'd love to see more downtown events, more teen activities, more just more events in general. I come from the craft world, so to see more of the vendor stuff and to bring in more of that farmer's market and the little stuff to bring in stuff to the businesses down there. And I know that they're kind of all going out of business, which isn't the best in the world. So I just want to see it grow in that sense, but not overly, no Royal Oak or Birmingham, that kind of thing. Keep it tiny. I like to be able to walk around and not be, pushed off the sidewalk. So little stuff like that. But I want to see, better sidewalks, better, some of the smaller roads redone for what they are. But keep it small, maybe just a little bit more on the business end of things and help figure out how to bring that in, whether it's from the DDA or, infrastructure in general, water or sewer, if that's what we need. But see what the public wants more than, what I want, because I think most of it's just keeping it small.
Thank you. Okay, a few of these are for all, so I'm going to kind of split them up. So I'm going to start with the trustees. Scott, what are your favorite places to spend time in our town and your favorite activities?
Well, being on a farm, there we go. Being on the farm, Jason and Bob would concur with this. It's usually the farm and Tractor Supply. So, if you ever want to find any of us, we're usually in those two places. So, we're always at the feed store and everything that's kind of agriculture related. And I love every aspect of the township. I spend a lot of time downtown. At all the restaurants, we visit them all, and I welcome all the new ones we got coming in. So.
Thank you. Bob?
I agree. Tractor Supply. I think I own one entire wing of Tractor Supply. I'm in there all the time.
I own the other one.
Yeah, there you go. Faye, do you have a control panel for the mics? Because if you do, so you can turn the gain down, it'll probably get rid of some of the.
I think it's that sign.
I think it's just mad at me.
Well, I gotta know what mic they are.
Whichever one I touch. That one first.
Or you go over there and stand.
Anyway, TSC, and Cook's Dairy. Not necessarily in that order.
Okay, Debbie?
You're not Debbie. You're not Debbie.
My favorite place to spend it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to refer you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. That's all right.
You can go first.
I got to start my thoughts. Anyway.
Gentlemen first.
That's all right. Sorry. Anyway, my favorite place to stay is, of course, at my house. I signed my son up for the first triathlon. I've done 3 Ironman triathlons. I've done ultra marathon. I still run around on the back roads. I still bike all over the place. So I don't really have. And then after, when I get all overheated, I go to Cook's Dairy. That's it. Sorry.
It's okay. Okay, Debbie?
I got excited about the question.
I too love everything about Ortonville. You know, we've been here over 30 years. I've raised my kids here. I walk at the park on Hadley Road every day. Most of the time, rain, snow, sleet, or hail. There's a few times where I chicken out if it's really bad, but normally it's every single day. I love Beaky's. I love, you know, doing my shopping there locally. Cook's Dairy, of course. You know, all the different restaurants. Bullfrogs is a favorite. I love the festivals. The food truck festival in the summer is always fun. Septemberfest. All the different activities that go on in the community. We like to enjoy as a family. My husband's family has been in the Ortonville area for I don't even know, decades. His uncle was Marv Featherston, so they used to, you know, I don't know if you've been around a long time, you probably remember Featherston Hardware. His grandfather owned it first, and then his uncle Marv. So we just love everything about Ortonville and like to participate in the community.
Thank you.
Steve, you want to go again? Are you making fun of me?
Okay,
Of
the
course I am.
volume is supposed to be turned down, so we'll see how this goes. Yeah, I spent a fairly bit of time at the parks around in Ortonville. I have a child in grade school, so we go to various places. But I like staying at my place and working on my garden. I have a pretty garden that's nice and that's not exactly portable. But other than that, you know, the general foods, you know, everybody's calling the other place. I'm surprised and shocked that nobody said Papa Bella's regularly. But yeah, usually the parks, I love them. They're all really nice, especially the ones in right next downtown. It's fabulous.
Rosalind?
This is my favorite question, I think. So,
Oh no, I got a bunch of time on her.
so my favorite event in our town is the Ortonville Fireworks. That is something that my family, and ever since I moved out to Ortonville, that has been a huge event. And any event that brings people from the community, when I get to see my neighbors and my children's friends, that makes me excited. When I go to the food truck events, and I can just, it's like one big party in our town, and I just get really excited because I love to see the people. Some of the places that I like to spend my time, well, I'm an avid gardener. I have been for a long time. Wojo's is really big. I love going to Wojo's. I love just walking through there, and my whole life I lived on dirt roads, so to me, walking down a dirt road and spending time out in nature, to me that's very relaxing. So I love living out in the country. I don't think I could ever handle the city because I've lived in the country so long. I really love it out here, and we spend a lot of time at the Brandon Township Community Park. For years, my kids have done so many sports, from sledding on the sledding hill to playing soccer to flag football. So now they have a basketball court out there that I love to watch my son just shoot some hoops, and that is just amazing. So there's just, this community is amazing, and I'm very thankful to be a part of it.
Okay, this next question I'm going to ask the supervisors. township. Okay, Kathy, if you received $1 million grant to use for the township, if you received $1 million grant to use for the township or the village, any way you wanted, what would you do with it and why?
Is this on? Can you hear me? Okay. I just wanted to also say I have a horse farm and I was at Tractor Supply this morning. If I had $1 million and I could use it for any way possible, I agree with Jason. Sewers, we need to bring sewers into the township. It would enhance the village foremost. And then if we could get it down M15, that would also be a plus. $1 million is not going to bring sewers in. We do have, like Jason was saying, some funds there for our use that we've already saved. We really need to get in some kind of federal aid to help us with sewers, because if they're not going to be affordable, the public's not going to want them. So we have to make them affordable, but that is something that does need to be worked on, for sure.
Thank you. Jason?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think first and foremost, they should go to sewers, but if we had another $1 million after that, I would say to finish our township park, to get those other 2 ball fields in there that we've been missing that we wanted, but we haven't been able to afford those. And we also have about 7 acres across the street from that park that we have future plans to develop as well. But infrastructure first, and if we had a second, I would put it in the park.
Thank you.
Yeah.
$1 million, boy. If I had $1 million, I just talked to the road commission today. They're on Granger Road, grading it. And what I would do is I'd make them clean out all the ditches around here on all the roads and get the water off the roads so they last a little bit longer. That'd probably be my main thing, would be make sure that all the intersections that come out onto the paved roads, that the county actually has a working sweep truck. They can sweep all the gravel off so we don't have anyone killed as they pull out onto Oakwood Road, off of Herb Road, or off of Connell Road, or off of any of those roads. Granger Road, it's terrible. And it's just a matter of time before someone gets killed because the county did not do their job. So that's where I would spend the most money, is to make sure that people's lives are saved.
Hey Faye, can we go back one more question?
If you remember the question.
I do.
I don't have any order under here.
We were ignored as far as what we think is one of the
Our
best.
favorite spot in the township.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Obviously, and I'm quite disappointed, nobody around this table mentioned it. It's
I
the
was ignored,
Brandon
too.
Township
We got ignored, too.
Public Library. And all of the programs that we offer, all the special events, obviously all the materials we have. So please, I give you my personal invitation. Please come see your library. It's fabulous. Thank you.
Maybe you should have a kiosk at Tractor Supply.
Can I make one comment on that? I've been a farmer for a long time, and I do all the shopping I can at Hamilton's Feed. They were there when I first moved in, and even though I got to spend more money there, I try and do as much as I can for that. I love that downtown store more than anything. It's where I get my oil to heat my house and everything. And Tractor Supply, I make a lot of money off of stock, but other than that, I buy some chicken feed and that there. But I do like that store. But Hamilton's, support your local community.
Ashley, would you like to answer that question? Please.
I was actually going to say Hamilton's.
Beat you to it.
They have a fondness for my dog as of late, and they give him a million treats, especially today. And for me, I guess for the rest of it is just downtown itself. I mean, I walk the streets probably 3 times a day with the dog every day. So I see the entire neighborhood all day, and I think that's just my favorite place. I love walking the streets. I love seeing everyone's front yards and how they decorate them and everything like that. I like that small town feel of it, and so that's my my favorite place is just walking the streets, which probably sounds horrible.
You're quite all right.
Faye, could I add one more thing?
Sure.
Besides the library, we do outreach, and we have books all over this township in every, every store that you go in, there's a box of books there. We do have quite a few little libraries around the town, and that's one thing that we want to add out at the park is a little free library. And we're there all the time, and it isn't just because we're on the board. And we're not running against each other. We support each other thoroughly, and we work well together. And it's just, there's so much to do there. If you haven't been in, you need to come more often. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, you didn't ask us that either, but.
Well, I'm disappointed.
Okay.
No one at all said the seniors.
One more thing.
Yep.
One more thing. Can I make the amendment?
Okay. Ashley, I'm so sorry.
Oh gosh.
What are we doing to bring businesses into the village?
Oh gosh, that one's a tough
I
one.
know.
That one's a hard one because it's a very specific business that needs to come into downtown right now. Can't really do anything that's coffee related because of dairy products into the septic. So it depends if there's an engineered septic or not. So it's it kind of sucks in that sense. I would say to bring businesses in, it would be promote more downtown events, get people at least downtown to see what downtown has and offers, and hope that one person has that one trade that would fit great with what's down there now. As of now, I think it's insurance and finance. There's a tattoo shop, I think, coming in downtown still. So that's a little different, and hopefully that can maybe bring in a little bit different businesses in and attract something else that's not an insurance, which I love the insurance people, don't get me wrong, that's a business. But I think what's going to bring them in is events more than anything. It's so much off the beaten path of 15, so to get people into it, to actually see it, besides the signs saying that there's downtown shops, we need to bring in people downtown and show them that there's businesses there and that there's open businesses that are available. And I think that will help.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Jan, I'm going to start with you for the library. Tell us about the neighborhood where you live. Why did you choose it, and what do you like about it?
The neighborhood, whoops. I guess I should do this. My neighborhood where I live right now? Is that?
In 10 years, no, yes.
Well,
Still there.
The reason I question that is I would never consider a neighborhood. I'm on Hadley Road. My property backs up to Wojo's. We are country. In fact, somebody told me one time years ago that Clarkston was country and we were the sticks. So, I just, when you said neighborhood, I was kind of thrown by that.
So just to change the word to area.
Area. Why do I like my area?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's property. I'm at Wojo's every day, partly because it's right there, but also I garden. We garden like crazy, and I was even gardening in January. So it's a year-round thing. I can pick vegetables in January. I have a greenhouse. So I guess that's why I like the area. Also, I have a little free library out front. That was our first COVID project that we did at our house. So, you know, I just, and I will say Hadley Road is busy. It's a highway. So it isn't like I feel like I'm off in the sticks because it's turned into a highway. Anyway,
Okay,
you want to add?
Cheryl?
I'm also on Hadley Road, a little bit farther south than Jan. I really consider my neighborhood to be Brandon Township, but I also consider Ortonville, even though I don't live in the village, that's my city. And what do I like about it? It's rural, people are friendly, you can have a say in what's going on around here if you want to. And I just like everything out here. My kids have both stayed here to live and they enjoy it and they participate in community, and I just think it's been a great thing for our family.
John?
I live on Ingalls Lane, which is a very short, small dead-end road off of Sashaba. And what drew me to it was just that. It was a dead-end road, and it's very quiet. Like they say in real estate, it's location, location, location. It was on a very quiet road, and it's on a small lake. And that's what drew me there, but what has kept me there is the neighbors. I have absolutely wonderful neighbors, even though there's only 5 of us on the road. A couple of examples. Before I even met one of my neighbors, the week I moved in, he was mowing my lawn because he knew I did not have a riding lawnmower on 2.5 acres of property. A couple of weeks later, I had mentioned to my other neighbor that my grandkids were coming. And we are on a small lake, and I wanted to get it ready for the grandkids to swim. And that Sunday morning, I get up and I look out, and my neighbor is out raking my pond without asking, and I was just amazed. And so that's what keeps me there.
Is that Mike?
Thank you.
Is that Mike?
Dan.
Okay, so this is for the supervisors. Jason, you're first. What is the future of the transit authority in Brandon and Ortonville? And when will everyone be able to use this system?
That's a great question. We would love to know that. We ask them constantly that question. We currently don't even have any routes in our community, and we ask every day why we pay for it. So that is a great question. And I continue to ask it, and we continue to get no answer. So the future is whenever they decide to start serving us, maybe we will get some. Right now you can call, but you have to apply. Okay, you have to fill out an application, and they take their sweet time getting back to you if they're even going to qualify you. Okay, and they take a lot of money from our community every year to do that. So the answer is we don't know, and we continue to ask that question repeatedly. So.
Kathy?
When the Regional Transit Authority proposal came through, I went down to the state to fight against it, and we did delay it for a year or two, but then it came through with all the Democratic people that got voted into office through the county. They pushed it through. Unfortunately, the votes in Oakland County passed it, so now we find ourselves as being a feeder community for the regional transit. And like Jason said, we try to oppose it, but we're kind of beating our heads against the wall.
Ed, would you like to answer?
I didn't know we had a transit authority. I thought the only thing we had was the senior center driving person that you call up and they give you a ride here.
That's the
that's
best
what we
transit.
have.
That's the best
Okay.
transit.
So I guess what I don't understand is if we pay taxes for Oakland County and everyone to be part of the transit authority, why don't we get reimbursed so that that person that's driving around is part of the transit authority, and maybe we get the funds from them and get some more money back?
That's how I.
That's what we've been trying.
We've been trying to do that. They don't give you your money back.
Okay.
I heard.
Okay, this one is for
We've
the
been trying for
clerk.
years.
Vicki, do you want to answer this one first, please? How have the new voting rules worked, and what would you change?
New voting rules specifically what?
I don't know, I'm just reading.
Good?
I would venture to guess new voting rules, meaning that early voting in
If it's
area
early voting,
and-
I think early voting has been good. I've had personal hiccups myself. I've been kicked off of the roster. Oh my God, I can't tell you how many times I've been kicked off of the voting thing because of last name issues. But, I mean, mail-in ballots are good. Yeah, I mean, yay.
Okay, Rosalind?
Okay, so that's a packed question. Prop 2 kind of came in and switched up your clerk's office. So we are all navigating those changes, and let me tell you, those changes have really impacted. They've made big impacts. Brandon Township is one out of 4 jurisdictions that did not. So our voters, when they vote in early voting, they do not go to Oakland County. We do not partner with the hub. It was very important to make sure that the early voting was convenient for our voters. When you come and do the early voting, our voters were not going to drive down to off Andersonville Road. That's a long drive. If our voters want to vote early, they need to come inside our township and vote. Now, did that take a lot more capacity out of your clerk's office? Yeah, there's a lot more work, but it's worth it because when you oversee an election, the best thing to do is make sure your hands are on that. It's maybe I'm a little bit of a control freak too, but it's really important to you don't want to I feel very strongly if I have to oversee an election, I'm not going to outsource it because then I can't speak on behalf of what's happening with our election process. As far as early voting, elections were fine the way they were. I don't mind early voting. We've been navigating it great. We had 201 voters that voted for early voting. That process went great, but if I could have it my way, Election Day would be a federal holiday, and everyone would go vote that day, and we would have no 9 days early voting. Another thing as far as prepaid postage, I think that's good for the people. If there's prepaid postage, it doesn't put an expense on the voter. It kind of makes it a little bit more convenient. There now did extend to where you're moving overseas voters. They have up to 6 days to return their ballot to the clerk's office. People fighting overseas, I understand that. I feel that they pretty much deserve that. They're fighting for our country. As far as the signature cure, you have up to 3 days to now cure your signature. I don't believe that should be like that. From my personal opinion,
Sorry, that's okay. Okay, this is specifically the way it's written, so I'm assuming it's for the township officials that are in office right now. So we are going to start with Steve. Stand up, Debbie.
You know, I was saying, he doesn't have to take cuts.
Okay, Steve, what is the #1 issue for Brandon Township in the next 4 years?
Sewers. That's it.
Okay,
Not gonna be any development without it.
Bob?
Sewers has already been said, and I agree with that. Also, I think we have to keep an eye towards our public safety. And anybody that reads newspapers knows that the criminal enterprises going on around here has increased. And with that, we're going to have to start seriously looking at increasing the number of law enforcement officers we have out here. And we're going to have to figure out a way to finance that.
Okay, Kathy?
I agree with my 2 board members here.
Kathy?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I agree with my 2 board members. Sewers is, a main goal for the township. Also park development and of course police. We have to support our police.
Fire too.
Jason?
Yeah, I mean, it's the simple answer is it's infrastructure. Sewers first, and all of our infrastructure, including roads. You know, when I took office, we were spending about $30,000 on dirt roads. This year, I spent about $240,000. So you can look at the budgets and see those numbers. So we went from doing about 2 miles, 2.5 miles a year to doing 7 miles this year. So I'm really proud of that, and continuing to do emergency services as well, both police and fire.
Thank you. Rosalind?
When I think about our community would not be what it is today without our police and fire. Without them, we would be nothing. There's a lot that goes into their jobs, and there's a lot that they pour out on a daily basis. And so mine's going to be police, fire, sewers, and parks.
Okay. Okay, this is going to be for everybody. So, and I'm not starting in the middle, guys, because I will lose where I'm at. What other community organizations are you involved with? John?
As I said, I'm currently a volunteer for the Friends of the Library. My wife and I manage the bookstore there, which is probably 6 to 8 hours a week for each of us. Other projects that I've been involved in were the wreaths across Ortonville, placing the wreaths on the veterans' graves. I've done Habitat for Humanity. That's probably the most recent things.
Where do I start? Let's see. I formerly was on the township board. I am 20 years the finance officer for a nonprofit in Oakland County. I was one of the founding members of Habitat for Oakland County. I'm currently working with the Trails Group with Brian Manis. I'm on the library, my favorite one, and that's all I can think of.
Okay, about 15 years ago, I helped to establish the Brandon Garden Club, which truly started at the library. It kind of folded into the Goodrich Garden Club, so many of us in Brandon are now in the Goodrich Garden Club. I just came off as president of that club, excuse me, so I could take on library board president, which I do. I'm trying to think. I've done many things. Friends of the Library, of course, I'm a member of that. And I have lots of grandchildren that are in and out, and whatever they're involved in, which is many things like scouts and whatever, we're involved in that too.
In addition to running for the board here, I am on a public school board that serves a lot of Oakland County students remotely, virtually. It's a statewide school, but a lot of our students are from Oakland County. And this is no organization, but I plow my neighbors' sidewalks and driveways when they need it, so I try to lend a hand anywhere I can.
Prior to working at Brandon Township, I was the youth director, or not youth director, I'm sorry. I worked at Oakland Community Church. When I worked there, I was the children's director from birth to young fives. So when I started working at the township, that kind of dwindled out. I'm in the middle of raising a family, so we are really busy. So as far as my community involvement, it's sports. We are dedicated to sports. We do a lot of coaching. So my family is dedicated to Parks and Rec. We just got done coaching a soccer team. So that kind of, right now, we're just involved in a lot of sports. My heart is for our public service in our community. So like BGYA and even like Fuji will come out into our community. So I'm really looking to get involved with Fuji a little bit more. They tug at my heart, and I love to hear how they go out into our community help, and I just can't wait to be a part of that. And that's it.
Let's see if it doesn't help me. Yeah, I've done a fair bit of work on and off with the schools. I'm just asking for volunteer work and whatnot. I would love to get into the gardening club. I've thought about that one more than enough times. But a lot of it is just more of, like when it's helping out, it's usually the school and the background end of things. Just making life easier because there are a lot of steps to get into the school for good reason. Good luck with that.
Hello? Hey. All right. We tried.
It's bad, we tried.
I'm not too involved anymore. I try and stay home, and my wife makes me leave every day. Basically, we foster cared for kids early on. We had 6 foster cares. We adopted 2 of them. My son and my daughter graduated from Brandon High School. They were active in Scouts. We were active in St. Anne's there. We do the Twister Roll Drive, but basically, coming from a large family, I moved out here to be left alone. And I like it. It's we have a lot of farm animals, and we do stuff with 4-H, but and we invite people over all the time. We don't do community organizations, but we basically, you know, everybody we meet, we invite over and give them eggs and have fun with them, and we just have a good time. Love it out here.
Well, I'm glad this question came up because I actually forgot a couple things earlier. But I'll revisit a little bit the lifetime member of the Fair Association for Oakland County. I am also actively involved with the Oakland County 4-H Livestock Club and Main to Tail Connection, which is our daughter's horse club as well as part of 4-H. So you will catch us at the fair almost weekly doing something, helping out there. You know, a couple weeks ago we picked up a bunch of trash along Andersonville Road for about 3 miles both ways. So we do that. I'm also in the Ortonville Lions Club for about a decade now. I was the president for 3 years, and I've been a member ever since. So at any Lions event, you can find me at the beer tent for Septemberfest. You'll see me in there bartending every night. I don't drink, but I don't mind bartending. So I will do that for the Lions Club, and I love doing that with all them people. And we got our Lions Club golf outing coming up here a couple weeks in June. I'll be there as well. And then I'm also in the Ortonville Masonic Lodge as well, so you always see me anytime there's a lodge event. I will be at that. I am very active with them as well, attending those meetings and doing all the fundraising and raffle tickets. I'm always selling for them as well. So, and then also the Brandon Groveland Youth Assistance, I'm a board of director on that, and I am also a board of director on the DDA as well. So I'm very active in the community, and I spend thousands of dollars a year of my own money sponsoring things. I'm also very involved with the Brandon All Sports Boosters. They had a horse racing event this year, and I sponsored a horse in every race. And I sponsored a whole table as well. You know, I literally spend thousands of dollars of my money in this community every year proudly. And I'm very happy to continue to do that. And whether I'm in office or not, I will continue to do that. I don't do that just because I'm in office.
I'll start with the Brandon All Sports Booster. When my kids were in school, I used to do the bingos that they had. We raised a lot of money. And I also went to the horse race for the current sports boosters and sponsored some horses. And I think Jason's horses did pretty well.
I won 4 of them.
Also, I'm a lifetime member of the Ortonville Historical Society. I'm also a friend of the library. I also belong to the Ortonville Recreation Equestrian Association.
I started it. Will that help?
I think that's better.
Mine's on.
Okay, and then when my kids were young, we were more active in 4-H, but I still take kids to 4-H horse shows. In fact, there's one this Saturday. Are you going to be there?
I am not. I'll be at the States with my all-state golfer golfing.
Okay.
The state tournament.
And when my son used to raise swine, so we were a lot more involved in 4-H back then, but don't go to we don't have entries for the fair.
Where do you get a saddle for those?
A saddle for what?
Swine.
Mutton butts.
When you're racing swine.
Oh, raising.
Oh, raising. I was just racing. I want to see that.
Yeah. I want to see the jockeys.
Yeah.
My daughter's pig was rode into the arena last year during pig showing. She ran under her pig, ran under a little girl, and the poor little girl rode her into the ring for about 10 seconds. And I unfortunately didn't get it on video, but everybody was cracking up. So it does happen.
Yeah. Well, I usually don't have a lot of spare time to give. I run an equine business of my own. That's it. Go ahead.
Just real quick, I'm also a member of Oakwood Community Church, and I am on their budget committee and help with the budget and show them how to plan ahead for big expenses.
Anyway, so I don't have a lot of spare time because of all my other things going on. I also help out with some of the area high schools. They frequently use my arena for practicing for the not 4-H, what is the
School teams.
Yeah, school teams, yeah, equestrian teams. And I'm very active in my own church. I usually spend 2 evenings a week at my own church, donating my time.
I spend a lot of my time in the Republican Party in Michigan. Some of my passions there are for election integrity. I participated in, I do a lot of door knocking, recounts, just a lot of things that are connected with that. I also volunteer through my church for different pro-life initiatives. My kids now are out of school, but was very involved with the sports programs and fundraisers and things for all the different sports and all the activities that they were involved with, as well as volunteering at the school. And I guess that's about it.
I'm not really involved in a lot of community stuff. I have kids that are teenagers with sports, and I have 3 businesses that keep me going from here to Texas, so I don't have much spare time left.
As of late, since I moved back, I've been doing She Runs This Town Oxford. It's a running group for women, and we grew huge this last year, so we started doing committees. And so I've been on the community committee, and we've been doing She Runs This Town, or Girls Run This Town, I think that's what it's called, for the middle schools and I think it's just middle schools and elementary schools in Oxford and Lake Orion. And so we've been doing their 5K races and joining them and cheering them on to see that women grow up and they still run. So I've been doing that, and then as of late doing the trail systems in the village with Ryan and the other village folks.
Can I add something if you don't mind?
Earlier when I misspoke and I talked about being a youth director, that kind of I misspoke, but I just wanted to add that children are so important. They are the youth of our future. If you have to pour into them, because that's your next generation coming up in your community. So one of the big things that I like to spend my time with is with the youth in this community. And one of the big things that was really important was there was Tom Coverly, the illusionist, that came into the community to do an anti-bullying presentation. He also came to one of the churches in town. So whatever I can do to pour into the youth in this community is huge, because I can't stress how important it is to pour into the children our community.
Okay. I'm not really sure about this question because I really don't understand it myself, so I'm just gonna ask, anybody that wants to answer it, please just let me know because, please provide your philosophy on how transparent and willing to provide details on township business processes.
Well, hey, I'll answer that. Everything is an open book. We give any information, everything's public record. If you think we're not giving you something that you asked for you, and we have to give it to you. It's simple. It's transparent as it can be.
And then too, if any community member wants to contact us, we're more than willing to speak to them and let them know how it works.
Does anybody else want to answer?
Absolutely. So, as an elected official, I think everyone that's currently on the board tries to be transparent. I think if there's something that the public is not seeing or there's something that somebody's looking for, you can't find it, stop by the clerk's office, come into the township, give us a call. It's so important to hear from the community. Our jobs can't be impactful unless you guys are reaching out to us. So if there's something that you're looking for or that you need to know, always pick up the phone, call, or stop by our office or make an appointment. I mean, we could always make that connection. So but we do our best, and if there's something you need, we'll make sure you get it.
Okay, this is the last question, so I'm going to ask everybody.
Can I back to the transparency thing? Because it is one of the main reasons why I'm running. A lot of the stuff that I've seen, I've attended the board meetings since I sold my property on Legault Road. It seems like everything that you hear is coming is from just the citizens. It's almost like, hey, we're getting phones for all the executives on the whatever, and we're gonna get this bill. Yeah, we're gonna, things just pop up, and you read about it in the Citizen for the first time, or if you're not attending that meeting, you really don't see that happening. And maybe it's my fault that I don't look forward to it, to read what's being proposed. Like we bought a new truck, so there was $50,000 allocated for a truck. It was like, I went to the meeting and all of a sudden, how did that truck contract get issued? What was it transparent? Who got the bids? Is it a new truck with equipment? Is it just the truck itself? So a lot of that stuff, it's almost like I wrote that question, but I didn't. But the transparency, it's sort of a shock. And then when you ask for citizens' comments in the township meetings, you get 3 minutes to talk. I mean, in Troy, you might have 25,000 people or whatever show up, it seems like. So yeah, 3 minutes makes sense. When we have 3 minutes and there's 2 other citizens in the meeting, it's like, why are you cutting me off after 3 minutes? You haven't fully listened to my issue here to understand it. So I just would like to run, and I'd like those meetings run in such a way that people are actually listening to the citizens as they talk and understanding where they're coming from. Because a lot of us have other things to do until we walk into that meeting, and we just don't get that fair shake. But I think the transparency is just sort of missing. And I'd like to improve that.
I'll just say that all of those things are posted on our website, and if you ever want to be on a mailing to get those things ahead of the meeting, you just give us your email and you will get everything the township board has in their packet emailed to you prior to the meeting. So we are very transparent, and everything is readily available if you look.
Again, I reiterate, if there's anything you have questions on or you need clarification on, it's important to reach out to your elected officials. Don't sit there and just question. Don't Facebook somebody. That's not a proper channel to go through. Like, face to face, come into the office if you have questions. Ask those questions. Don't sit back. Because you can go online to agenda. You can see the agendas are posted at a certain time. Our new business is even posted online. So if you ever have questions, always pick up the phone and reach out to us.
Thank you. Okay, one last question. What city or township would you like to see Brandon Township / Ortonville modeled after? Okay, I'm going to start. Cheryl.
You don't give me much time to think about that. You're on the spot, honey.
If you need time to think, I'll answer while you think.
All right, go ahead.
I'm not going to give this too much time to think, but I don't want to model after somebody. I want to be the example. So I can't really say that there's a community that I really want to compare to. I think we just need to work together, and so I don't think there is one. I think we need to be the example, be unique and be different.
I'll go. I think more than wanting to compare to another town, I think it's a little bit harder and actually closer to that we really can't be compared to another town. We are on the cusp of county lines, the township lines. It doesn't take that long to go to 75 to 69 to 23. Like we are right on the edge of everything. And that's part of the reason why the sewers has been having an issue for so long. I mean, how far north do we have to go before we even hit Genesee County? So I think some of it is because we're in a unique position, especially with M15 and going up north. I mean, we have so much connection between all the different towns that we really just can't model from another town. We just kind of have to, because we're right on the edge of everything, but we're at such a nexus point for everything that we kind of have to do our own thing.
Go ahead, Steve.
So we have a master plan. That's all right, I don't care. We have a master plan that people can put input into, and I'm on the planning commission that develops it. To say that other townships can't model themselves, we have our neighbors next door that are modeling the entity below it. They think they want to be just like them. We don't want to be like Clarkston. We don't want to be like Goodrich. It's in the master plan. Say we don't want to be like 24. We don't want M15 to get all big. Yes, we do want sewers because we got to save our lakes around here. So that's in the master plan. That's a discussion that can be with the community. So we don't have to be like anybody else. We can. We don't want to. And it's in that master plan we don't want to. And that's developed all the time. Okay?
Thank you. Okay, who wants to answer next? Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, I've never been one to like to model myself after somebody else or something else. I would much rather, we have a really unique group of individuals on our boards. And because we have that unique quality about us, we can be the community that people want to model after. We can be that, what was the model rating? The hill on the, shining hill on the, something like that, whatever it was. I mean, we can be that point that people want to say, geez, why don't we do what Ortonville's doing? Why don't we do what Brandon Township's doing? So, I don't want to be like anybody else. I want to be like us.
Unique.
Unique, yes. Unique.
Anybody else? Kathy?
I just wanted to add that I agree with, especially what Rosalind and Steve and Bob said. We need to be the community that others want to model after. And I also wanted to point out our township park is such a gem in our community, and we're the only ones with a living tree library. And you can't go anywhere else to find something like that. And just so you know, 3 laps around the Living Tree Library is a mile. So that's where I go to do my running.
I'll work on that.
Also, the library is an asset, but also our high school pool has community swimming. So that's another gem that we have here. So yes, we need to be the community that everyone else wants to model after.
Okay. Cheryl.
All right, now I can think about it.
Okay.
I think we need to be very careful to not model by what we personally want, but what the entire community wants. I think that's very important. We have to remember our roots. We have to remember that were rural, where we came from. You know, we used to be a vacation hotspot, that people down south would come out here to vacation. And I think a lot of people have moved out here to have that feeling on a daily basis. But it has to be something that the whole community agrees on. So I think that'll make a big difference than what just a few people on a board decides it needs to be.
I think I said at the beginning, I grew up in Clawson, and I always thought I want to buy property like Troy, and I thought Troy would be. I was always told that if you could find a place like Troy, which reminds me of Ortonville today, this was 30 years ago, that you'd be really rich if you bought land out here, because I just thought it would develop to be like Troy. Now that I'm out here, I really like the place, that it hasn't changed a whole lot, at least in my neighborhood directly. I like the open land. I don't believe every parcel of property should be developed. Thank God my 20 acres that I bought back in 1989 was turned into forever wetlands. It'll be that way for 100 years. I sold it to get rid of some property taxes or assessments that I didn't like that were put on me, that I didn't think I should have to pay for. And I made up for it by buying some more property, 7 acres off of Baldwin and Granger Road, and it's swampland. And I hope it stays that way forever. I just wish that I was taxed in such a way that I could leave it as swampland forever. I paid $20,000 for it. I bought it off of someone that lost the property, and I just think that the more that we can do to get people to buy land and not tax them out of it, and force people to develop and put a home on it because someone says it's worth $70,000, it's wrong. I want to be able to be a community that's a pass-through community, as my wife says. She loves the fact that people just drive right through Ortonville and don't even know that it's there. Why make it a destination city? People just keep going. We love it right here. So that's how I feel about Ortonville. I like the way it is, and I'd like to keep the rural appeal. I don't think that we should all have to pay for sewers, just like I don't think we should all have to pay for Flint's mistake on having lead in the pipes. I got a well, you know, so save me that money. I think the people that are on lakes like Bald Eagle Lake that need a sewer system, they need to figure out how to pay for it.
It's time, sorry. Does anybody else want to answer that question?
Yeah, I'll just say Brandon is very unique, or Brandon Township. I don't agree with everybody. I don't want to be like anybody else. I think we're leaders here, and we do a good thing to bring everybody in. And like Steve said, bringing everybody into the master plan. That's why everybody's input on those master plan meetings we have, and we send those surveys out. Take those surveys. Give us your recommendations. Let us hear from you. Those things are all important. And as far as sewers go, he doesn't got to worry about paying for sewers. They'll never be by his house. So.
We're building.
Debbie and Louise.
Yeah, my answer is similar to a lot of the other ones. I think a lot of us chose this community to move and raise our families in because of the rural nature of it. Like I said before, I grew up in Clarkston. My husband and I moved out here, 30 years ago to raise our family, and I agree with the people who said, I don't think we should battle our township and village against anybody else.
So as much as I would love for village or even township to piece from every little thing, I kind of agree with everyone that people should model after us. Like, the village is quite the clean slate right now, so if we can make it our own, then I think that would be the way to go. I mean, it's pretty open right now, so if we can build it up in our own little way, I think that would be the way to go.
I will say, as part of the DDA, there are lots of villages that actually come to Ortonville and want to model us. So we're pretty proud of that here. So I don't think we need to be modeling them because we have enough people wanting to model us, so we're doing a darn good job of what we're doing.
Anybody else? Okay, if not, I want to thank all the candidates. I'm sorry, I'm going to look at some of this thing. I want to thank all the candidates and the audience for attending. We do have some cookies and coffee if anyone would like to stay if you need to leave, you're welcome to leave. Or if you want to stay and answer questions, if someone has them, you're more than welcome to, but definitely not required. But once again, thank you very much for helping.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you for hosting.